Guys, welcome to tonight's live. Today I am going to be sharing a question that I received from one of my clients who is a barber, and he had a question about why he owed taxes when he has a child. If you are brand new here, welcome. My name is Jennifer Drew. I am the founder and CEO of Hair CEO. We are a business advisory, bookkeeping, and tax firm specializing in helping self employed hair professionals and hair business owners run legitimate, profitable, and bankable businesses. And so, this series, I am talking about different topics related to taxes. And I've been doing this for the past 63 days. Today is day 64, and I'm going to 90 days. And in the month of March, I'm answering questions that you all have for me. And so today's question comes from a barber, and he has been working with us for about 3 years. And he had a question about why he owed taxes all of a sudden because he was like, I have a child. Like, I should never owe taxes, right, Jennifer? I should always get a refund. Not so fast. So that's what I want to talk about today because there is a misconception. You see so many people talking about, oh, well, I'm gonna let somebody in such and such claim my kids because I'm trying to get this refund, or you hear about people stealing social security numbers of kids trying to get refunds. So I think that mindset and that narrative has given people this sense of entitlement. Just it's like, oh yeah, I have kids, I'm entitled to a refund. Well, not only is that incorrect, but it's certainly not correct when it comes to someone who is self-employed. Because when you're self-employed, you don't have someone taking out tax payments for you for employment taxes. So you really want to be careful with that, thought process. And so today I am going to break down some scenarios, and I think it mirrors this particular client that I have. He did not leave because he owes money. Just want to let you know that. And because I explained to him what happened. So let's walk through someone. This may be you who, maybe you are pregnant, or maybe you're about to like have a child, or maybe you are a guy and you and your wife are planning a family, or whatever your situation is. This particular situation that I'm going to, kind of walk you through was one of my clients. He not married, so he's not filing jointly. He's filing head of household because his girlfriend had a child 3 years ago, like I said. So let's walk this through. And then, this was also, it kind of progresses as the child was getting older. His business was starting to grow as well. So the first year he was brand new. These are not real numbers. This is for just explanation so that you can kind of follow along with the story of how someone goes from getting a refund because they have a child to now owing money and they still have this child. So in this scenario, this was year one for him. So profit wise, he didn't make a ton of profit. And this particular first year with the child, he had profit of $25,000. Now, the tax on that, based on the fact that he's filing head of households and everything else it takes into consideration, he actually had zero tax liability. Okay. Now, again, this is not based on a real scenario. If you had $25,000 in profit, I'm not saying that you wouldn't owe anything in taxes. Again, this is just for simplification. I'm simplifying the way this worked. Okay, so this is not based on real numbers. Now, let's say the child tax credit for that year was $2,200. Okay, so because this was his first time having a child, there is a credit when you have a child of up to $2,200 if you qualify. Well, if you remember from one of my lives a few days ago, I talked about the child tax credit and the additional child tax credit. And so here we're seeing how he actually didn't qualify for the child tax credit because he actually didn't owe any tax. So what he qualified for was the additional credit, additional child tax credit, but it's up to a certain amount. And so in this scenario, I'm saying that it was up to $1,700. So he got $1,700 in this additional child tax credit. And so the result was that he had a refund of $1,700. So, of course, that year he was very excited. He was like, yes, I get a refund. This child's coming in handy. Yes, he cries and, craps a lot, but he got me a refund. So, yes, year one, he was very happy. Okay. So, now let's talk about year two. Year two, this same barber, he's getting more clients, his skills are increasing, he's getting more active on social media, he's seeing more clients. So now, when he comes to me, his tax information looks a little different. He now has a profit of $45,000. So in this scenario, he has a tax liability of $1,500. Now, you're like, okay, well, like what changed? Well, what changed was that his profit went up. So the U.S. has a progressive tax uh, what is it called? The progressive tax rate. Yes. So the more money you make, the more you pay in taxes. So that's why now he owes money because his income went up. So, but you still have the one child. And in this scenario, child tax credit, again, for examples, was the same $2,200. Now, the discount he got was 1,500. You're like, well, Jennifer, you lost me. How is it 1,500? Because remember, the child tax credit is not is like a discount. So it's going to take off whatever you owe. So he owed 1,500, so it took away 1,500. And then what's left over, he gets in the additional child tax credit. So in this example, he got $700 in a refundable additional child tax credit. So the result is that he had $700 refund. So year two, he's like, well, Jennifer, what happened? I mean, last year I had $1,700. This year I had 700. I mean, I'm not going to complain too much. Yes, I made more money, but at least I still got a refund. I'm happy about that, right? That was year two. Now let's get to year three, which is this year that we filed for him. This is based off of real life examples. So, year three, we're filing for 2025 now. And look what happened. He had a breakout year. And you can see it right here. He owed $500. But breakout year for him. His son is getting older, and he's still filing head of households, but his profit shot up. I mean, I was excited for him, right? I'm like, dude, you're killing it. I mean, you are continuously growing. You got more clients. You are, increasing your income. This is amazing. I'm very proud of you. But along with that success, along with making more money, comes more taxes. Because why? We have a progressive tax system. The more money you make, the more taxes you pay. So his tax went up to $2,700. Okay. Now he still has a child. He still qualifies for that child tax credit. And in this scenario, guess what? He takes the entire $2,200 discount because he owes more than that. So now that discount is fully used. And now he doesn't have the additional child tax credit because he used all of the child tax credit. So now that means because it didn't cover the entire amount he owed, now he owes $500. And when I presented this to him, I said, hey, congratulations. You made $75,000 this year. And, he was all happy with me too. He was like, yeah, Jen, I've been posting on social media. I got some brand deals. I got a lot of clients. They're repeating. I had a couple of house calls, people paying me hundreds of dollars to come to their house to cut their hair. I even got a celebrity. So now, I was on Instagram and I cut this celebrity's hair and he tipped me like $2,000. I was like, dude, that's amazing. But what that means is that you now owe taxes. You owe $500. He was like, but wait a minute. I have a child. Did you put the child in there? Remember, Jennifer, I had the child. This is the third year. I'm like, yeah, I remember you got a child. I remember that. But you only got another child. You got the same child. So that means you got the same $2,200 deduction and you making more money and your tax bill's going up and your child tax credit is not keeping up with how much money you're making, right? It's like it's outpacing it. So he was like, I don't understand. I thought because I have a child, I would always get something back. Like I'd always get a refund. And that is the misconception. And so hopefully, as I've been explaining this, now you understand that just because you have a child does not mean that you are entitled to a refund. And he found that out. When was this? Maybe 2 weeks ago. Okay. He was not a happy camper, but it is what it is. Now you might be thinking, all right, well, dang, that's messed up. It is messed up. Well, I mean, it's not messed up. It's life, like taxes. It happens, right? Like you're gonna owe if you're making money. So what I explained to him was that, all right, now that you have outgrown the tax credit, unless you are planning on having more kids, hey, some people use that as a tax strategy. Not that I recommend that. I am not your tax professional. I am not saying go out here and have a bunch of kids as a tax strategy. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. Don't say, well, Jennifer said we should have another child. No, because Jennifer did not say that. Jennifer did not say that. What Jennifer said was that in order to make sure that he's not going to have this problem next year, I explained to him that he's going to want to start making estimated tax payments, because if his growth continues like it has been, like it keeps shooting up, we don't want this tax bill next year when we're filing 2026 taxes. We don't want this bill to shoot up to $2,000, $3,000. We don't want that. So we want to make sure that he's not getting a surprise bill. So we want to make sure that he gets in these estimated tax payments. So what he did was he was like, all right, Jennifer, yeah, like I need these reminders. So we have a service where we will send you reminders every quarter so that you can pay your estimated taxes. And so that's what we did. And he is going to pay X amount every quarter so that, as he continues to grow and make more money, he can make estimated tax payments quarterly and not have to worry about a really large tax bill at, tax filing time. Because here's the thing, we're in March, right? He owes $500. But guess what? Now that he has to make estimated tax payments, the first estimated tax payment for 2026 is April 15th. So this is not something that he wants to wait until April 15th to pay, because now you're going to come out of pocket even more, because now you got to pay the $500 and now you got to pay the estimated tax payment for Q1 of 2026. So keep that in mind. I hope this has been helpful. If you have a child and you were under the impression that you will never owe taxes just because you have a baby or a child or whatever it is, especially when you're self-employed. Because remember, I'm talking to people who are self-employed here. All right. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, March, I'm answering questions. So if you have questions, leave them in the comments, send me a DM on Instagram, on TikTok, send me an email, however you want to get in contact with me. If I'm able to answer your question, I most certainly will. I hope this has been helpful to you. And again, if My name is Jennifer. I almost forgot my name, right? My name is Jennifer, and I help simplify profits and taxes for self-employed hair professionals and hair business owners. And I will see you again tomorrow when we tackle another topic for 2026 tax talk. All right, see you then.